I'm Ms. Farrar.
And I'm Ms. Branham.
And we decided to do joint peer review for ENC 1102 spring 2010 semester.
Part of the reason that we decided to do this was to give our students an opportunity that's not like the normal opportunities that they receive in peer review in 1102. By combining our students with another class, we're able to give them a kind of diverse viewpoint. They get out of that safety zone that their normal peers are in, where they don't want to give constructive criticism. So it's able to open them up to a different kind of audience, an audience that they would really experience in the real world.
I think it's been interesting watching our classes. We've had 3 peer reviews in total, and then they're spending the last week of classes doing presentations together. But it's been really interesting watching our 2 classes kind of work together and get to know one another and go from this kind of awkward, uncomfortable environment to one with a little bit more rapport, but still, you know, there's still sometimes a feeling of competition because it seems like one class wants to be better than the other class, which is what we like because we want, when they peer review, to be that sense of competition between the 2 so that they're a little bit more realistic in the way that they are choosing to give constructive criticism to the other class rather than saying things like, this is good job.
Yeah, they're able to really give each other really valid feedback by saying, well, this is a good point here, but this is what I would do to make it stronger, which is what we want our students to be doing in peer review. And at first they were a little resistant because we took them out of their, super safe comfort zone and threw them in with all these other people. But they've really come to appreciate it. I think they really see the value in it. And they're really able to feel like they're participating in something bigger. They really get that feeling that they're succeeding, not just in their classroom, but in the FYC program as a whole.
I think peer review can be really helpful because each person is raised differently, their environment's different, their cultural background's different, they learn different teaching styles, they have different teachers, and if each person comes together, just in a group of 2 or 3, just at a peer review, it's beneficial to have different thoughts and ideals into one paper, and you have different viewpoints and political views on one issue.
We also did the peer review because peer review is something I think that a lot of FYC instructors would agree is one of the more difficult aspects because we always hear from our students, well, what's the point? Why do we want to hear what our other peers have to say? We want to hear what our instructor has to say. And it's not to say that we still don't hear these types of comments in joint peer review, but I feel sometimes that with the real diverse constructive criticism that they receive, we think they're getting more constructive criticism than keeping them in their isolated classroom by putting them in this different atmosphere, that we're getting less feedback that is, why are we doing peer review?
The thing about giving feedback in this peer review, one of the main things that I found is that coming from a different perspective, you could help people on their subject, especially if they're not aware of other things. For example, this one girl had done something on human rights, but she didn't know an organization called Amnesty International, which I have actually been involved with before, so I gave her information on that so that she could do something a lot bigger than just making a Facebook page. So she gets a lot more ideas from that, and hopefully it helps her.
Not all the FYC classrooms do the exact same version of each project. So they're able to see that even though they're not working on the exact same topics, or perhaps their project outlines are a little bit different, they're able to really see that even though they're working on this all-encompassing project, that each version of the class treats the project a little differently, and they're able to really see the value in that, I think.
That's been an issue, I think, with our classes, is that our first 2 projects were slightly different from one another, and we heard, or at least I heard, a lot of feedback that was, oh my gosh, this other class is doing something different than we are, and there was some anxiety about it, but I kind of liked that anxiety a little bit because they have to realize that everyone is doing something different, and it's not a bad thing that you can read something that's not exactly the same thing that you're working on, and you can still provide constructive criticism on it.
The peer review is really helpful to me because although I'm pretty outgoing in general, when I'm writing, I kind of get embarrassed about my stuff. So when I have to share it with so many people and get more ideas, it kind of reinforces. Like when somebody tells me like, "Oh, that's really good. Like you did that well." It like really makes me certain that I'm doing well. So it helps my confidence when I'm writing, and then I also get many ideas because there's people from different backgrounds and stuff and who know about different things that I don't know about, so it's really easy for them to give me ideas that I wouldn't have thought of, and that's why I like the group peer review.
When you have your peers review something for you in the workplace, they're not all producing the exact same document that you are. Oftentimes they won't even have background on the information that you're presenting them. So it's a really good way for them to realize that, well, that's what the real world is like. Someone that's not working on the same thing as me is going to review my work. So I do have the authority, the agency to give them some feedback.